protected class status has never been granted on the basis of behavior. When we throw in the race question, skin color is an immutable or unchangeable characteristic. You can change your sexual behavior. One of the reasons I think that so many in the activist community abhor the ex-gay ministries that are out there, because they tell the story of transformation and redemption and change in their own lives. And that's a story that they don't want told because it underscores the fact that this is not an unchangeable characteristic. Am I right?
Well, I do think there's a lot of negative reaction around that. But, to me, it's just even more basic. Maybe you can change your desires and maybe you can't, but you can always control your behavior. And that makes there's a sleight of hand going on when Ted Olson says that just as we can't discriminate on race, this also applies to gay marriage. He isn't acknowledging something that's just a fundamental difference, where we may or may not find certain relationships deeply satisfying, and maybe we can't totally control that. But behavior has to be subject to moral critique and reflection, and skin color doesn't, because it's not a behavior. So I think that even you can have your own, whatever theory you have about how people become gay, and I think there's a sort of a mystery in our fallen world about how people are saddled with that, what I view as an unfortunate thing. But in any case, you can't expect to be exempted from the idea that your theory about what sex is, what it's for, how we're supposed to behave, can't just be reduced to the question of what skin color you have. You've got to live in a society where people are free to reflect, to critique, to disagree with you about that. And that's what Ted Olson and Judge Walker's decision doesn't acknowledge. It's not about live and let live at the private level. It's about importing as quote-unquote fact into our founding document the idea that religious views about the nature and meaning and purpose of sex are, judicially harmful to gay and lesbian people. And it's just wrong. It's a category error. It's damaging, I think, not only to the rights of Christians and other traditional faith communities. Ultimately, it's dehumanizing for gay people for it to be suggested that their desires are not subject to moral reflection and critique.